welcome everybody to the LA Blender users group. My name's Sterling Getz, and this group meets roughly every Blender release. We're a little bit slow on this meeting. Blender 4.5 has been released for a little while now. That's mostly just because I've been on vacation, out of the loop. So normally the way these meetings run is we have a bunch of formal speakers and sessions lined up, and then we have a break, and then we have a show and tell. It's a little less organized today, so bear with us. It's probably a little smaller group today than normal. Sometimes we get like 25, 30 people in here, but I only did some social media blasting like minutes before we started presenting here. So it's a little smaller than normal, but that's okay. We'll keep it small and personal and interactive. We do actually have some really fun sessions to talk about. And the agenda looks a little bit like this. So we've got, I'm going to cheat on the normal what's new with Blender. And there's like a little 10-minute video we can watch or not watch, depending on how you guys are feeling. We got a session from Steve called Blender for Grooming for using Unreal Engine. That sounds pretty cool. We have a session that's not on this agenda that is Blender's use for a Star Trek fan film that I think is going to be pretty exciting to watch. We've got a number of show and tells from various people that I've been talking to just before this that we're going to take a look at. So it should be pretty fun regardless, but we'll just keep it casual, interactive. This is not a one-to-many format. You guys just raise a hand if you have a question and ask as many questions as you want. By all means, talk to the people around you, find out what they do with Blender and so forth. So is there anybody in the room that has not used Blender? All right, we got a bunch of Blender seasoned professionals. And I know that Dave, who's online, also knows Blender. So I'll just skip right over this. And just because it's tradition, this is Blender. So if you're watching the recording and you've never seen Blender before, this is the Blender user interface. This is 4.5. But it does all of these things. And the best part about Blender is the community. It has a really amazing community, both online and in person. There's literally hundreds, I'd say hundreds of these user groups around the world in different cities. We used to run an online World Blender Meetup Day where they all got together on a single calendar day. Nowadays, we have things like the North America Blender Conference, which is happening in Austin next year. Very exciting, put on by the CG Cookie folks. So just in case you're unfamiliar, these are kind of like some standard Blender links. Obviously the Blender website where you go to get the software. There's a builder.blender.com where you can get pre-release stuff if there's a feature you really want to play with. It's not yet in the release version. Blender Nation's kind of like the LA Times of Blender, Blender communities. There's Blender artists, there's the Reddit. I don't know if you put the Reddit subreddit on the site, but you can ask them to list. So I put this group on the blender.community site. It's pretty cool. And then, Blender artists, when you want to ask a question, show off your art, get some feedback, Blender BuildBot builds the Blender versions. And then there's a whole bunch of sites where you can get free and paid tutorials. I went and took a look, and there is an official Blender 4.5 overview, but it's like 45 minutes long. And I'm like, yeah, no, that's not going to work. So Southern Shoddy has done a 10-minute Blender 4.5 overview. Do you guys want to watch it? Yeah. Yeah? Okay, cool. He's pretty good. We tried to wrangle him into doing some sessions for the North America Blender Conference last year, but he had some conflicts. So hopefully he'll be at the conference this year.
Blender 4.5 is here, and it is a huge update paving the way for the new Blender 5.0 change, which means instead of less than 5 minutes, we're going to cover all the features in less than 10 minutes. Let's dive in. If you don't know, adaptive subdivision is a checkbox you can turn on that will allow subdivision to adapt to your displacement maps and automatically generate the geometry it needs. Well, it's now more performant, working better on multi-threading. They've also reduced the vertex and triangle count, and they've made it support previously missing features such as attributes, smooth UVs, and more. Now, one of the things I love about Cinema 4D is how clean its Boolean geometry is. Now, thanks to this new update, we have that in Blender with the Boolean solver called Manifold. This is more robust, it results in cleaner geometry, and it works faster on multi-core setups. Now, I'm not sure why people aren't talking about this more because this is a big deal, but the lights just got new controls to bring them closer to realism, including a new exposure control and a temperature control that lets you choose the light color using Kelvin values. You can also now normalize the lights, making them bigger and brighter if you want. In texturing, you can now use color randomization on brushes, adding hue, saturation, and value variations across the strokes. This is going to be great for creating realistic, organic brush presets. Eevee also saw some performance boosts with faster texture loading and faster startup times. The shader compilation, this is huge, is now multi-threaded. Combine this with the new Vulkan update, and you have a much faster viewport performance. GPU subdivision is faster and extremely faster on certain GPUs, including Apple, which now has seen a boost from 7 frames per second all the way up to 12 frames per second in the viewport. Vulkan is here and now fully functional to replace OpenGL, and this literally makes everything in the viewport faster. I actually did an entire video on this and testing how much faster it is, so I will link to that in the description below. Now, one of my new favorite features is the Set Mesh Normal node, which lets you manipulate normals directly with a geometry node. It's great for creating smooth transitions between topology without actually altering the topology, meaning it's almost like a hack for creating blobby characters or doing hard surface modeling. Grease Pencil saw a lot of support this update, including a new Grease Pencil render pass, which lets you isolate Grease Pencil strokes in the compositor. Grease Pencil now has the option to filter out rendering per layer, and this can be found in the View Layer properties under Filter, Include Grease Pencil. Bump mapping saw improvements with shadow near geometry edges now looking more accurate with improved bump correction, and there's a new filter width option that lets you soften sharp texture edges. Now, something I've been waiting for years is better curve tools, and with the new curve systems, we're getting tools such as Separate, Join, Split, and Convert Attribute. Vertex Parenting gets a major upgrade with customized parent indices. You can now use final evaluated indices for much better accuracy. We have a new free normal format, which stores normals directly as 3D vectors on the vertex and faces, which is much faster than tangent space normals. UVs from multiple selected objects now display in all modes, which is great for things like game optimization. I just want to take a moment to say that if you're looking to save time in Blender, check out my product's Dynamic Visual Effects pack, where you can quickly drag and drop customizable visual effects into your scene, or my crafty asset pack, where you can drag and drop a whole host of materials designed to give you a crafty look. This is also a great way to support the channel, but let's get back to the updates. You can now override bone display settings per individual bone, giving you more flexibility when building rigs. They've also added a snap mode to the driver's graph. For shape keys, you can now duplicate them quickly, or you can update them using selected objects with matching shape key names, which is a real time saver. There's a select group operator in pose mode now that includes new options like children and siblings, making it easier to select chains of bones. If you hold Control, you can use playhead snapping in the timeline. Now this works in the graph editor, the dope sheet, the timeline, and more. When you press K, it brings up the Insert Keyframe menu, and now it always includes the Available option, which keeps the hotkeys consistent. The Jump to Keyframes operator has also been unified, making it simpler and more powerful. If you didn't know, the Copy Global Transform is one of the best add-ons included for Blender for free. It now supports built-in keying sets. Blender's compositor now includes many nodes from geometry shader node trees, including things like vector math, clamp, float, curve, blackbody, and more. We've also got image info and image coordinate nodes to help you get pixel-specific data, and we have access to import more textures like noise, Veroni, and brick. But I'd like to add one of the most exciting updates to the compositor is that the GPU now has support for denoise node, making it significantly faster to use, and the backdrop finally has a gizmo. Praise the Lord, this makes it so much easier to use. And to go with that, we have a new overlay, which is added to visualize the render size when working with the viewer node. And to wrap up all this amazing compositor update, many of the node settings are now exposed as input sockets, just giving you more control over what you can use on these nodes. Render output paths can now use variables like blend name or resolution X, and this allows you to auto-name files and folders, making it easier to set up batch renders. And an exciting performance update, scenes with many objects now build dependency graphs up to 18% faster. Shout out to my nerds, now we can do custom cameras via OSL. This is great for things like exhibits or VR where you need to create custom projections. AMD's HIP RT backend is now on by default, resulting in faster renders on modern AMD cards. Now, if you're into low poly modeling, you'll be excited to hear that in Eevee, the shadow terminator has been fixed, and there's a new bias setting that removes those ugly self-shadowing artifacts on low poly models, making them easier to work with. There's been some improvements to Eevee's use of Z-depth, and a better handling of long-distance views, reducing the amount of Z-fighting and depth glitches. They also fixed some visual bugs, including making shadows cleaner thanks to quantized normals, and there's also less light leaking from large lights. Non-selectable objects no longer interfere with auto depth or selection. Geometry nodes saw some updates as well, with panels and attribute search now being supported in the node group operator panel. We got a huge selection of new import nodes, including OBJ, STL, and more. Grease Pencil also got more geometry node support with a new dedicated add menu. Now layer names are searchable, and we have new nodes to control various elements such as depth, color, and softness. One of the nodes I'm most excited about is the new visual geometry to objects node, which allows for procedurally generated instances to be turned into editable objects and collections. We also got a lot of new nodes great for utility, including the camera info node, which is good for culling. Then we got the new field nodes for average, min-max, variance, and more. We had the format string node, which is the Python style formatting node. And then we also got things like instance bounds, bitmask, string matching, and more. And as always, we're excited to see performance gains with attribute interpolation being up to 7 times faster, and normals, including the custom normals, now calculate over 2 times faster when working with geometry nodes. We have a new anti-aliasing option for Grease Pencil called SAAA, standing for super sampling, which joins SMAA for better line quality. You can combine both of these for the best results, but be aware of overblurring. They've also reduced the point radius clamping. It's been removed, which allows for ultra thin strokes, but be careful because they'll disappear if you don't have the proper anti-aliasing. Modifiers now support layer group filtering, and node tools now work on Grease Pencil objects as well. If you don't know, these are the geometry node setups that you can create and save as presets under your modifier panel. The boundary strokes are now called filled guides, and this is a really cool feature where if you hold Alt and left mouse button while using the fill tool, you can draw custom guides around your Grease Pencil objects. They've also added an option to auto-remove these guides after use. We got new operators with the mask with layer above and below, split, outline, and remove fill guides, and we can convert curve types. You can now limit onion skinning to just the active object, and SVG exports now support animated frame ranges. The 3D cursor even saw an update this time around, where now snap to cursor includes rotation support. Point cloud is now a fully supported object type, and it's no longer experimental. Liquid Sim saw a huge performance boost, being up to 1.5 times faster overall, and they've also improved the UI layout within the settings. I never thought I'd see the day where I was excited about improvements to importing, but here we are. This importer is now 3 to 15 times faster and supports older FBX files. And with SVG, we can now import multiple SVGs at once. GLTF and USD also saw several improvements, and it's exciting to announce that now Blender can write ProRes video files. Color management now supports open color IO file rules for better auto color space detection. If you use Blender for visual effects, you'll be happy to hear that motion tracking has had a speed up of keyframe selection by up to 50%, and you can visualize the preview range. There's a new volume coefficient shader node. It's a clean all-in-one node that replaces the volume scatter, absorption, and emission. It's perfect for physically based volume materials using real-world data. Rendering in BMP format now supports alpha transparency. When working with sculpting and painting, you can now quickly isolate parts of your model based on color with the new Mask by Color feature. If you use a tablet, you'll be happy to hear that sculpt brushes like draw, clay strips, and more now support pen tilt, and there's a new visual tilt preview, making it super intuitive. The new manifold Boolean solver also works in sculpt mode, making it more reliable and faster for trim tools. Brush management just got a little bit better because now we can duplicate brush assets. Sculpting saw big performance gains this update with faster sculpting on high-res meshes, especially when using the multi-res modifier. Clay strips now brush about 1.2 times faster, and node tools in sculpt mode are now snappier when modifying just mask positions or face sets. There's even some cool updates for the user interface. You can now hold control and scroll over numbers and text boxes for quick value tweaking, or there's a new remove all materials operator, which is a one-click cleanup. We can also now take screenshots directly in Blender for asset previews, and it even automatically removes the background and makes it transparent. And they added a new horizontal list view, which shows more assets in the asset manager. You can also drop collections directly into the 3D view, and they'll snap to the surfaces and grids automatically. The node editor saw some changes too. We now press F to add a frame node instead of J, and frame colors will alternate automatically and label positions will be smarter, making it easier to read. The file browser now supports dragging multiple files into the scene properly. Both video audio rotation and color space conversion are noticeably faster in the video sequence editor. And lastly, there is now HDR preview support in the video sequence editor. If you're enjoying all these free Blender updates, then check out the Blender Dev Fund, where you can help support the development of Blender.
Wow. That's a lot of features, huh?
Ladies, listen up.
Whoa!
The video showing the pink
All right.
salt trick that melts.
Oh, who cares about that?
That's not a Blender feature.
No, it's not. Oh. Well,
YouTube Premium, man.
I do have YouTube Premium. I don't know why it's still showing me ads, but yeah, pretty impressive stuff. Like I'm excited to hear about the new fluid improvements because I have an upcoming project that's going to need that, and I'm really looking. But like my wife throws a champagne party every year, and so she needs some visuals on the walls. So should come in handy. Any features that people are excited about in this release? Yeah.
And that and the fluids, like both of them have been so neglected for so long.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice.
And the GPU denoise and the compositor, that's pretty huge, right?
Yeah.
That's cool. So
Hey, I want to throw this out there if you guys can hear it.
we can hear it.
I've been in Unreal Engine, and I'm sure it's the same for Unity. That FBX that we had up until this version was quite literally broken. And this new version is quite literally amazing. I think the GLB pipeline to Unreal is better, but the FBX importer rewrite, there's a tool called Better FBX that you can buy online at Superhive, but this one is comparable. So if anyone's doing any real-time work, the update to FBX is great. So highly recommend the 4.5 one. Because FBX has been just broken for years in Blender. So good stuff.
Yeah, it's just the problem with a closed standard. They have to like reverse engineer it at times, right? I don't think Autodesk really publishes a spec on that.
No. You can, so there's a tool called Better FBX. It's been like the standard, and that uses the FBX SDK that gets bundled with it, but they have to pay per license for that. Here it's a lot better, which is great. GLB and USD are also equally better. It's up to the latest standards. So that's what we end up doing, a GLB pipeline to Unreal. But the FBX one it's real good. So anyone doing real time should see a pretty big improvement there. So.
Awesome. Anyone else excited about a particular feature that they're going to use? GeoNodes? The closures. Like what would you use them for?
Functionality outside of the group. I haven't really dug into it yet, but you do it's hard to explain.
Okay, that's all right. Yeah, do a demo for us sometime. Awesome. Yeah.
It's like you do some really mind-numbing stuff that.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, so obviously there's been an open project, and Francesco City was here at our last meeting presenting on this dog walk, which is what the splash screen is all about. It's a video game they developed in Godot, so open source pipeline, start to end. Has anybody played it? I haven't played it. Have you played it, Hugo? No? I might load it up and give it a play, maybe load it up at the break and we can kind of take a look at it, because I think they released it. It's in Steam now. So it's pretty cool. Awesome. Okay, well, tell you what, before we get started, well, I don't know, are you ready to present?
Yeah.
Okay, why don't you get prepped and get into Teams and tell me when you're ready. And then what I'll do is, just while you're getting set up, I'm just gonna go around the room real quick. If everybody could really quickly say what your name is, what you do, and what your interest in Blender is, and try and keep it to 60 seconds or so. I'll start in the back.
Configuration that can work among many different platforms, and Blender just seems like a glue that can hold the many different people together.
Awesome. That's perfect. Thanks. Go for it.
I'm Will Vasquez. I'm a UX UI designer that uses Blender for everything from concept art to product shots and animation and video all in between. So
awesome.
Somewhere in between each other.
Awesome. Sean?
I'm Sean Henry. I'm a visual effects artist. Been using Blender for quite some time. I use it to, in the past, I used to use it just to kind of complement compositing work, but it's grown more and more, and I can do all kinds of, I use it for everything. I love all the visual effectsy stuff in it, motion tracker, compositors behind, but capable. So yeah.
And
Nice.
and the guy behind openvisualeffects.com or
Yeah.
.com?
Visualeffects.com.
.com. Yeah.
Channel.
Awesome. We'll go over here.
I'm Greg. We design theatrical displays, the movie theaters, and then retail signage, and retail displays, and not nearly as advanced as what you saw with it, but it works for us, what we do, and I want to learn a little bit more about it. So that's why I'm here.
Awesome.
Robert Crosby, I'm a Blender enthusiast. Blender, working with Blender as a development platform for a machine learning and AI stuff for an app I'm working on. Yeah.
Fantastic. All right, Hugo.
Hugo, I'm a Blender subreddit. I'm a hobbyist Blender user, but I like supporting Blender because I think it's a very neat open source project. And I've seen it go from something that was basically a Latin stock to reckon with. And I think it's good that Blender is so long at.
Awesome. And finally, well, sorry, I'll do myself first. So Sterling Getz, I'm basically a Blender hobbyist. I cybersecurity guy by day. So I use Blender just for the creative outlet of it. And yeah, I've been co-running this group with a few other people since 2011, 2012, something like that. So.
Hey, I'm Steve Sonkowski. I'm a 3D artist, modeler, character designer, director, old school blue sky animator, who's now developing some TV shows based on my concept. And I'm a Blender enthusiast as well. I'm trying to put it more to my pipeline. I'm basically a Maya, ZBrush, Keyshot, Unreal Engine guy, substance painter. But this is what I'm going to show is. Hopefully you can match right.
Yeah, we can see your screen, but
should we hide this window?
just turn it. I'm sorry, brother. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
Is it okay if I turn this on?
Yes, please.
Okay.
I just want to make sure that I've got the right thing showing.
There we go.
Okay, and you can see the screen, okay?
We can.
Because I'm going to go to this window. So my presentation today is more kind of show and tell, a little bit of presentation. It was just basically, hey, I'm starting to get Blender on my pipeline now, and I like to kind of use it as a test bed for especially USD-C objects that I do in Substance Painter. So this project was really fun when I had to do, I wrapped up last fall. I was contacted, I do a lot of work with this company called Mushroom State Studios as a 3D modeler. They were like, hey, Steve, we have something right up your alley. This client of theirs who does a lot of big bright games kind of stuff, they're going to present a one-off sculpt to one of these higher ups at games. So they wanted to do a 3D print. So that was going to be 18 inches tall, one-off. That was going to be lit up and everything for this character Warwick from I think it's from the show. The show. Valorant. The Arcane. Yeah. So I watched a couple of them. So I didn't really know too much about this character, so I did a little research on it. So let me just show you really quickly my reveal animation I did to give you an idea of what this looks like. So the idea for this was it was only a 3D print. That's all it was supposed to be. And then I decided months later to use it as a test bed, do a real time example, and take the whole thing to finally. So this was my little reveal animation.
Hold on. I hear it. Sounds good.
I don't know, the audio keeps on fluctuating.
Okay. You can watch that on YouTube now. Anyhow, so what I'm trying to show here is what you're seeing in the clay model. This is the actual. Oh wait, hold on. I'm hearing double.
Yeah.
Should I? It's gonna drive me nuts.
Here, I'll do this. I'll turn it down really low. Let's try that.
Okay.
Okay, good.
All right. Okay. So, again, ZBrush model. There's like multi-million polygons, probably the most high density model I've modeled for, because I usually do a lot of game stuff that's not this high res, but this was only supposed to be for 3D print. But then I wanted to use it for real-time exploration. So obviously the next step was to retopologize it. So I went in and cleaned up all the data. There's I think 12 different subtools here. cleaned up everything to bring over to Substance Painter. And let me just, I'm going to show my my ArtStation here, just so you can see, because I have everything nicely laid out up here. So what we've got is, here's ZBrush. So this is what it looks like using ZBrush. And then this is all sent over to Substance Painter. So here's the Substance Painter screens. And I've got, I think I have 9 different individual layers for this, because this is going to be too big of a model to try to do it all in one texture set. And I wanted to really try to push Unreal for this. And so then I had to learn some other things. I really wanted to try to do fur on top of it. Even though I sculpted the fur on there, I was like, I have the nice painted detail I can use to drive the texture. So at the very bottom here, this is my first test of getting Blender fur to work. And I have with me here the Blender scene. So check this out. And actually, I just set this up yesterday to get the color, because I hadn't mapped it. When I was originally doing this, I just had the base geometry in there, and I was applying the grooms and then sending it over to Unreal as Olympic files. But the cool thing is I had to find some tutorials online, and the one I found that was a really good walkthrough was this guy talking about this plugin called Groom Exporter. And this is also that I didn't even know about how to even get, because I had never done any hair before. I was going to try maybe use XGen from Maya, because I use Maya, but I thought I've heard good things about Blender hair. Let me try that out. And it was pretty fun to use it. So with this particular importer, you have to set up some of these attributes. There's like a UV coordinate system, and then there's the color, roughness, and radius that the Olympic file writes out, and then Unreal reads this in. And then in Unreal, I had some issues trying to get apply wind to work. There's a whole thing you have to do in the node editor, and I sort of got it to work by having to like override it on each groom, but I was able to get it to work globally yet. So that was still a bug. And then just this week, when Sterling asked me if I wanted to present, I was thinking like, I should try to do all this. I should try to recreate this now in Blender. So I'm trying to figure out how to get hair to work in Blender dynamically, which I have not figured out yet. But it was pretty cool. So it was basically just straightforward. So if I just pick on these the grooms themselves, you can just go in here, and when you go into sculpt mode, and then if anyone's actually played with this, it's pretty fun. But you can, like, for example, you should use the basic comb here, and you can kind of go in, you can kind of comb the direction of your hair, and then there's all these other attributes. So when you change these, and when you go to the modifiers, you get all these different like deformers and clumps. So this is me just literally like watching some tutorials to try to figure all this stuff out, and like I wanted to make them a little bit thicker, more clumpier, to try to lay on top of already pre-existed sculpted fur. But anyhow, I got some pretty cool results here. And then just to show also, this is all running the viewport. This is like 4.5. I just loaded this up this week. The model on the right, I'm sorry, on the left here is a USDZ model that's exported right out of Substance Painter. So the cool thing is Adobe has it right. They've got this like Adobe 4.0 shader, the USD shader that just works, and it's great to bring it into Blender. I've been trying to use USD export from Maya. There's a couple little bugs in the exporter with you have to use Material X and Look Dev X, and I've actually had just the last 2 weeks I've been on the Maya USD Git. I think I found a bug, so they're trying to fix that up. But the nice thing about with Blender is I can just drag it in and it works, and you can export it out. And then just because I wanted to see if I could, I also have Unreal running here, and so this shows. This is not the full-blown fur, because for some reason this is the only fur is on the tail right now. This was the first test I did, but I tried to grab some of the other data, but I couldn't get it over in time. It was not working right. But the cool thing is I had to also learn a couple other things. I had to learn how to just basically pass a noise through a UV map for the cool plasma ooze going through the tubes, and then I found some cool tutorials on how to do. I wanted to do low-lying fog, which was really fun to learn how to put that node together. So this was all done in Unreal, but now I'm kind of thinking like I want to try to see if I can recreate some of the stuff in Blender as well. But it was a really fun project to work on. It was just me just like I want to try to use this really high-res complex model that that was only for one purpose, and then let's see if I can adapt it to real time. And I wanted to show really quickly here, because I just got permission to show these. I got the actual 3D print files. So let me just really quickly come here.
Has he been printed yet?
He's been printed. I have not seen it lit up, but this is basically what it looks like printed up. And the cool thing about this is this really talented woman over at Monster City. Let me grab all these, and she did the paint job on it, and it was interesting because she did it independently of me doing my painting. So I had kind of art directed her on a little bit of the color scheme I wanted to go with, but then I didn't do my paint until like months after this. So this is kind of what it turned out like. And I didn't actually reference this when I was doing my own painting and stuff. So I was just kind of like just going to town and substance, but it's kind of cool to see how we kind of match things up. But yeah, this thing was like 18 inches tall. We one of the little rocks in the back of the stand, I adapted to be like the little on off switch. So they actually have it wired up with some LEDs. And I can't tell because I think they just printed the chambers translucent. But we were hoping maybe that the actual tubing would have been translucent. I don't think the tubing lights up. I think maybe just the chambers in the back light up, but I haven't seen it lit yet. But it was a pretty cool to see this kind of one-to-one come out for that. But yeah, that was my little show and tell for me kind of using Blender, and I'm also using it right now. I'm helping another buddy of mine. We're writing a cool little like dice app, and I've modeled all the like the role playing game, all the different cool the D20, D10, all those dice, and I'm using Blender now. I'm learning some of the physics stuff in Blender to like just do some really cool real time animations with the physics engine. So I'm just having fun. Like whenever I get a chance to play with Blender, I just fire it up now and start using it side by side with all my other tools. So, and then I'm constantly learning. Like I'm one of the guys who uses industry compatible key mappings because I'm coming from Maya. So my thing is like, why do they have to ruin all the other keys? Why can't they just assign some of the keys that we need, like the navigation and the translation, rotation stuff? But what I end up doing is I'll just have to fire up a Google window and say, how do I access this particular command with key industry compatible key mappings enabled? I usually find a way it's hidden somewhere, but I find it out. So. But it's been fun. So I've been, just been using it more and more. I do have hard ops and the other hard ops tool that I've been playing around with. Box cutter, yeah, those are kind of fun as well. So I use that. And then I did take a look briefly at some of the sculpting tools because I'm a big ZBrush guy. So it's kind of good to see how they're keeping up with it. I really want to start diving into geometry nodes, which I haven't done yet. And also the compositor looks pretty cool. And I want to start playing around with that. And eventually I'd like to start doing some more of these little self-contained animations all in Blender now too. Like start using more animation tools in here. But I was kind of trying to see what I could push it in Unreal because Unreal opened up some of their animation tools with like Modular Control Rig and the graph editor is really nice. So I want to see what I could do with that, which I was able to do some cool stuff with that. So yeah, but I'm just like starting to dive in more and more with Blender. I'm having fun with it. So yeah, awesome. Yeah, that's it.
Awesome. That's really cool. I think I missed it at the start, but who was the client for the work?
So it was the vendor was Monster City Studios. They do a lot of really cool like fabrication for like huge, like if you go to their IG, they did this really cool Jurassic World exhibit that they set up in Rockefeller Center just like last month for the new movie, and they do like a ton of huge stuff. So I've been working with them on and off for probably like 6-7 years now. We do like this little things here and there, like, hey Steve, I need this or I need this, can you do it? And I've kind of been one of their go-to guys who are like, I need this tomorrow. So I'd like jump in and model something from them. But yeah, it's been fun to work with that. And then the client was another vendor who does a lot of the Riot Games internal like displays and things like that. So they wanted to gift this to the one as a present. Oh. So it's just a one-off.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. I wish we'd get the license to print these up. That would be kind of fun. Yeah. So it's cool. Yeah.
Any questions for Steve? I'm curious about the 3D tech they used to print it. Do you know anything about it?
Yeah. So because this one was not too big, they ended up not milling it, but it was actually done with this cool Chinese 3D resin printer. But instead of where you actually are projecting and doing the peel, there's a laser that points down into a big vat of liquid. Yeah. They're more industrial, but you can get a bigger print. And then it takes a little while, but you can actually print up the whole thing. Yeah, it just rises up out of the resin. And so the thing too is like, I've worked with these guys enough that I know what they want. So I didn't do any key and slotting on this. I basically left all the subtools in the logical piece. Like the base was one thing with a couple of pieces, and then the character was its own with certain things. So I knew that they were probably want to print them separately, and so I'll let them do the key and slotting because they know they have a different way they want to do it based on how they're going to print it. Versus sometimes I'll just give them like I don't like to give them a whole thing that's already like already like fused together because that way then they have to chop it up. So I try to think ahead, model something that needs to be split up.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Sorry, what were you saying?
The resin printing, it's deceiving when they show you like previews of what they're doing stuff, but really it's like machine has to like put the thing down, laser does its thing, pulls it up, puts on a layer, puts it back down. It's like,
yeah, I haven't. Yeah. So I have a Sonic Mini, the DLP one, which is nice. It's the DLP screen. It's nice, and so it does a little peel. But the plate's like this big. And I've also been using the Bamboo Lab. I've been using some FDM printers now too, and I like those because I can do multicolor printing. But I don't like doing the filament poop where you have to like change the head for every little change of the color. So what I do is I design my objects to be per object color. But I have it set up where I have the AMS system, so I can say print like 4 pieces on the same plate, but you leave enough space for the head to travel. I can say, okay, print this one up. It takes maybe like 2 hours, and then do this one. So I can set it up so I can do multi-object printing with different colors on the same plate. Yeah, cool.
So have you noticed any viewport speed up on the Mac with 4.5?
I have, and the funny thing is, I should show you really quickly here is this just the rendering. So check this out. So right now, if I go to EV, which I'm in, right? Let me get out of sculpt mode here. And then if I go to cycles, I already have it kind of, it has to do a kernel, but it's preloaded and it starts pretty quickly, and I have it set to like, yeah, I just let it go. It kicks into the noise. Like if I set it like 64, we'll see how that kicks in. But the cool thing is, and I just discovered this too, is like if I want to see the silhouette, if I go to, where is it, film, transparent, so I can turn off the HDR background, but it's still contributing. You can see the influence of the fur. You can see the silhouette of it. So that's the main reason I was doing this, is I want to see if I can bring out something more than I was doing in the sculpts. And so this is fun. So I'm still learning more about the grooming system, but I was able to go in and edit the shaders and put some emissive on that I was using in Unreal. But yeah, it's really cool to be able to have this fidelity. And so because I still remember, I was at that SIGGRAPH when they first got the fur, and they had the pirate guy with the beard. I saw that running in real time. I was like, that's cool. And so I know that, I always knew about the capabilities of it, but just never had a project to play around with it yet. And so I started playing around with it, and it's fun. Yeah. So
That's such a beautiful model.
Yeah, I was gonna make a suggestion.
yeah.
Probably, you should do type of shots like you just had. That gives me a sense of like craft. The other one's so pulled back. It's a great sense of like capturing motion and movement. But you zoom in there, like just even if you slice the head off, like show all the fur and the detail inside,
Yeah.
I can see all the hours you put into your model. Don't forget to add shots like that. Small detail shots that really showcase.
Absolutely, yeah. That was just supposed to be like a reveal, like a reveal for social media kind of thing. But yeah, I try to cover it all in the art station. I try to do close-ups and stuff in there. Thank you. Yeah. But yeah, if you guys want to follow my work, my art station is just my name. So let's see if I go to the other window. I do a lot of character design and stuff too. So I do a lot of VR modeling as well. And the last cool Unreal project I did was this Gem Alpaca piece where as a solo dev, I got to work on this for like 8 months, and I basically did a whole, I think I showed it at the last meeting, but it was basically, again, like you just like taking everything from Maya and Substance Painter and ZBrush and bringing it over to Unreal. So I'm trying to do more Unreal stuff now as well, but I want to try to do more of it in Blender as well. So yeah.
Cool. Awesome.
Thanks.
Any other questions, or? Awesome. Thanks, Steve.
And I want to vote for, I want to see someone do an experimentation. Like I want to see geometry nodes. I want to learn about geometry nodes.
Yeah.
Or maybe in the compositor, instead of just watching some videos, I want to like be here to like try this and do it while I'm watching the presentation, because that's how I learn a lot too. So
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Is anybody else using geometry nodes in Blender?
Oh, some tutorials.
Pretty much. I do have the mic turned on. Hey, Gregory, welcome to the meeting. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Hey, thanks for joining. Can you tell us real quickly, like, what it is you do and what your interest in Blender is?
Yeah, so I work as an industrial designer. Specifically, I design motorcycles, and I've been using Blender for the past year or so. But I used to be a game developer, and so I'm trying to sort of combine my industrial design background with my software development skills. And I just wrote an IGES file importer for Blender, and I'm just over in Pasadena. If anybody is around the area, feel free to reach out. But I've actually had kind of trouble finding other people using Blender. I'd love to chat with you guys some more.
We've got somebody in the room raising their hand. You're also what?
I do industrial design.
Oh, somebody in the room is also an industrial designer that uses Blender. I would love to connect.
Oh, reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'll be there.
Cool. Awesome. Or join, I tell you what, you guys both, if you guys both join our Discord, you guys can meet up there and then connect and then share details and all that kind of stuff. Awesome. So Greg, do you have any examples of your work that you want to share?
Yeah, let me see. I just threw one up. Let me just, sorry, I'm using like the web interface on this. So let me just see if I got this right.
Yeah, apologies. I love Teams. I hate it. Hey, we can see it. Oh my gosh, that is super cool.
Yeah, so it's like, this is just one that, this is just a personal project, but this is one that I want to build. The idea was I was taking a sort of like World War II aircraft inspiration, and I wanted to make a sport bike that looks different than, you know, like the Japanese and the European bikes. So, but just kind of like its own thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I was going to show like my plugin, but I just reinstalled everything on my machine and the plugin broke. So next time, I guess the next meeting.
Is there like a web page you could take us to for your plugin, or like is it in the Blender add-ons library or?
Not yet. So I just started learning Python and Blender development like last month, and I still have some issues with this thing, but like I've actually been able to use it for work to import like old IGES files. We usually don't get IGES anymore, but every once in a while we do. So it's been kind of handy.
Forgive my ignorance, but what applications turn out IGES files?
Like I don't know, like IGES, like a SolidWorks or Unigraphics or CATIA. I mean, like it's sort of an older CAD format, but we still get them from suppliers.
Yeah, we got so many in the room that used to work on CATIA back in the 80s. Awesome. Yeah, so you know, put it up on the Blender cloud and under the add-ons. I'm sure there's somebody else that's probably dying for it.
Yeah, if there's anybody else who's into plugin development, I'd love to chat because I'm kind of trying to make my way through, but I'm still very new to it.
Have you found the developers channel on Blender Artists? Is that the best place to go, guys, for Blender plugin development?
There's a guy local, I think he works for a game development company, and he has a school channel, like a skool.com.
Yep.
He's got like a room there. So that's where I've been learning the most, but it's kind of quiet in there. And if there are other people who are actively developing, I'd love to. Like I come from a C++ background, and Python's very new to me.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, I make a lot of dumb mistakes in Python.
Okay, awesome. Well, AI is really good for that too. I've almost generated, you know, Blender add-ons just asking AI to write the code for me. So yeah, it'll do code cleanup.
Which AI do you use for that?
So these days I'm using Gemini Pro 2.5, which is like $20 a month, gives you a chat interface. But also if you just go to Google's AI Studio, you can access that for free.
Claude will actually make you a Blender file, which is insane. I just want to throw that out there. But that's like, I think, the $200 one.
Claude. Sorry, what were you saying?
Claude Sine or whatever. One of our guys uses
by Anthropic. Yeah.
Yeah, the Anthropic. It'll actually make a Blender file, which is insane to play with.
Sorry.
So in Blender, with the text editor, you can open it up. There's like a whole bunch of different templates for different add-ons and various. You have to like exporting add-ons or probably bring it up on your.
Yeah. Let me take a look. So Blender, you're saying that.
What's the scripting? And under code templates, under on the text editor there. At the middle window.
This one?
No, in the middle.
This one?
Yeah, go to templates.
Templates.
And you see all various different examples. You probably click on one to see something that, yeah, probably like the top one there is. But click on one of those, and it will actually look like a, yeah. So it just gives you like a whole template that you can look at and see how it all works and stuff. And you can actually save that to a directory called add-ons. You have to specifically name the directory capitalized add-ons, and then you have to point to that directory from the preferences in Blender. You can actually run that add-on as just an add-on. You kind of see how things work.
Cool. Hopefully you guys online heard that, but Rob was just giving us some tips on how to do the how to kind of develop an add-on.
So it was actually kind of hard to hear from here, but can you give me a TLDR?
Yeah, so Rob was just saying, so there's templates in Blender itself for developing add-ons, and you just have to save it to the right directory path, and just follow this URL, and it'll give you tips on how to do it.
The default template, like add like view, it's like that's all it does, and you guys see how it's all set up with Python. So it's a very generic add-on. You just kind of see how how everything's structured.
It's a generic add-on, and you can kind of see how it's structured and what you have to do.
Modify things on there and have to do what you do.
Yep. But what I was going to show you here is this is Google's AI Studio. So basically, let's see if I can. Let me see if I can do this. Okay. So Google AI Studio is free, and you can do a couple different things on here. So I'd like, write me a Blender, blender.org, just in case, add-on to import. What was the file type again, Doug?
Sorry, were you asking me or?
Yeah. What was the file? Or sorry, Greg. My bad. What was the file format?
IGES.
Let's see how good it is. So, if you're running the right model, yeah, so this is pointing at 2.5 Pro. It'll do things. It'll search the internet. It'll read documents. It'll go look at Blender documentation. And it's pre-trained on languages like Python, and it'll actually just author the add-on for you.
Interesting.
You get mixed results.
Yeah.
It'll get you 90% of the way there, and then the script won't work, and you'll say, you do a little research and find a line that it got wrong, and you'll tell it, oh, you got this line wrong, and it'll say, I'm so sorry, you're exactly right. Try this new cut.
Yeah. So it's called, the term is AI slop. Yeah. Yeah.
And then I actually sent, I don't know who's trying to make, I sent it to Spencer Magnuson, who's he teaches coding for CG Cookie. And he wrote me this gigantic email about how bad ChatGPT is at it. Here's what it did wrong, and here's how you can fix it. He cleaned it all up real nice, but it was working at least.
Yeah. So the point was, a lot of times it'll write sloppy code, and then you spend all of your time just trying to troubleshoot the fix for it. There's some nice IDEs that you could use to basically just author there's some really great agents as well you could use to just author the code for you and then test it, and then if it doesn't work, revise it and fix it yourself. So if you write a good enough prompt, and you could even do meta prompting and say, write me a prompt to help me write a prompt, and it'll ask you a whole bunch of questions and then generate the prompt for you about what you want it to do, then it'll actually do a much better job than if you just write a one-line, one-shot description like I just did. But yeah, it'll write the code for you. So the other nice thing about Google AI Studio that's nice in Blender is it has this streaming feature where you can basically just share the screen with the AI and then fire up the Blender interface and say, hey, how do I do this in Blender? And have an interactive voice conversation about it. And it'll be like, oh, it looks like you've got a default cube and you want to, you want to cut it or segment it or subdivide it. Here's how you do that in the interface, and it's pretty cool. So yeah, you know, much nicer to kind of help you through your projects if you're just getting started with Blender. Awesome. Well, thanks, Douglas. Really appreciate you presenting that. Your motorcycle looks really cool. I was Sir Gregory. It's Gregory, right? I don't know why I keep wanting. Don't know why I keep wanting to call you Douglas. My bad. But it kind of like I've been playing. I just finished a video game called Cyberpunk 2077. Are there any fans in here? You guys know the game? It's got some great motorcycles in it, and I just like used to spend my time riding through the futuristic cities on the motorcycle and just loving the view. So awesome. Well, okay, so that's a couple different presentations. Why don't we take a quick social break? But before we do that, we had somebody come into the room late. So what we do is we just say our name, what you do, and what your interest in Blender is. Mm-hmm. Awesome. All right. Thanks for the intro. We'd love to see some of your work if you have anything to show. Yeah, that's okay. All right, cool. Well, it's great. Welcome. Thanks for joining. So yeah, why don't we take? Let's see. We've been going for about an hour now. So why don't we take a 15-minute break? Yeah. Sorry. Oh, sure. Absolutely. Why don't you come up? So we're just gonna have a real quick, really quick session or announcement.
Super short.
Get close to this microphone.
Okay.
That's on the camera.
Mic's on the camera?
Yep.
Great. Hi, I'm Elijah Sen. I am a post producer, VFX supervisor for a small post company that I also own called Plastic Post House. I would love to show you some of the work that we've been doing, but I was just texting with my producer, and a lot of it is under NDA, at least for the next month. But the reason that I'm here is because we're doing a fan project for the Star Trek fan film. It's a sequel to the most popular fan series of all time called Hidden Frontier. It was a very early adopter of the virtual production model where a guy had a green screen in his house. Actors would come in, plant the camera, shoot their episodes, do the VFX through there. And so we're taking it to the modern age. We're going to be doing a fully virtual production feature, essentially 70 minutes. And so I'm here trying to find some people who might be interested in contributing in minor ways or major ways to making this come to pass. I myself am going to be doing a lot of the compositing, nuke, silhouette, and somewhat in Blender. So essentially, that's my pitch. I'm looking for people who are interested in doing some of the modeling, some of the effect work, and however you want to contribute is deeply appreciated. And I'm searching globally for anyone who might be interested. I can give you an email address if anybody is interested in joining in.
Do you have a web presence you can?
I can essentially give you my email address because that's who I was just talking to. And they're saying can't really show what we're doing at the moment.
Okay, why don't we just?
So sorry about that.
No, that's okay. Why don't we do this? We'll go. Whoops. Get this weird keyboard.
Yeah.
Great. All right. Don't know what that is. Go ahead and just type your email address here so we have it.
Yeah. You can.
Yeah.
We also do a lot. Well, I don't know Windows at all.
That's all right. I'll take care of it.
We do also do a my company, we also do a fair amount of visual effects work. We just did some work for Disney's social channel. We do things for Reverie, the streaming company, along with various indie films and things like that. So ideally, I'd love to find people who are open to taking on that freelance work and creating interesting effects for small to mid-sized clients with the occasional big fish that comes into play. So this is my my company email address. I would absolutely love anybody who is interested in learning more or wanting to talk more about the Star Trek universe, visual effects universe, or the Blender universe to send me a quick email, and I'd love to bring everybody in.
Cool. Where's Plastic Post located?
We're actually located just south of Beverly Hills.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you have an office, you're not all remote?
Currently, we're on remote, but we're actually moving into an office in Culver City down on Jefferson before the end of the year. Yeah.
Very cool.
Anyway, thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. I'm sorry to have to head out of here so quickly.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for coming. It's good to meet you. And just for completeness sake, we might as well.
That'd be very cool to at least talk. I mean, no, because we have a couple of really.
So there's some big discussion going on in the room for folks online. So we'll try and recap that for you in just a moment. Awesome. So
Director and producer, one of our co-directors is actually in Sweden now doing a TV show out there. So it's kind of been bits and starts. But that's actually, again, part of my job is finding those people. Are you into design? I know somebody who lives in languages shirts. Yeah. So very sweet. Really? Yeah. That's so funny. Well, I got it. I'll just down here.
there's no way to go full screen on this.
I don't know. I can't.
That's all right. Oh.
Very, very. Here's the thing. There are details actually set that you can only spend so much and nobody can make any money. Yeah. So, unfortunately, one guy entire thing. It's a crazy story, but he essentially raised $3 million off of the Star Trek fan film '98, and then built a studio that started renting it out on the back of that. And CBS was like, no. And so yeah, he basically went, yeah, accident. That was what he had.
Cool. All right. So I tell you what, we're probably at a good spot for a break now. So let's go ahead and we'll take a 15-minute break for those folks online, and then we'll reconvene. Let's see, it's 2:41. Why don't we reconvene at 3 p.m.? We'll see you guys here. Awesome.
Any issues right now? All right, awesome. So this is the way so I'm able to export these files out from the iOS app to my computer, and what I'm trying to do is combine these images into a panorama using Blender. And so here, these frame images are images that were captured during the preview. So when it using an image, using the camera on the phone, I can just capture this image directly from the preview. And then I do a burst of multiple brackets at different exposures. So there's a low exposure, yeah, different. I don't know if this is a good one to look at, but I'll show it in Blender. So in Blender, so I'm able to, so I just created a new Blender file here, and I can develop a add-on that organizes the scene in Blender to organize everything in the orientations and everything as to how it looks. So get this. So initialize panorama. So it's going to give it a second here to organize all the pictures and everything, and it's going to organize everything into materials and such. I can show you exactly what's going on here. So each of these planes here is a just a very simple image plane, just has all the pictures associated with each plane for each direction the camera is pointed when it was taken with the phone. So it's using the gyroscopes to figure out which direction it's pointed, and just kind of generally putting it where it's supposed to be in the panorama. So if you just look around here, you can kind of see everything's all oriented correctly.
It just saves that data. It's in the metadata.
Yeah. Well, actually, there's JSON files I've had to just a little peek there at. The information is like this rotation data that I get from the gyroscopes from the camera as the picture is being taken. So let me get into one of these frames here. So give me a second. I'm not used to such a low resolution. All right, so I got this one. Let's focus on the one of these here. And if I generated these node materials that organizes all the pictures that were taken in a way I could actually combine them together to see if how they're overlapping and such. So if the images are not aligned correctly, any kind of movement you're making when you take the picture, when the camera's taking the brackets, if you're moving the camera, the images don't quite line up correctly and stuff, and so I have to go through and manually align them with UVs. So I had the ability to add multiple UV maps on the side here for each image. I think there's just yeah. Well, so anyway, so I have this custom node where I could be able to specify which images are shown, or overlapping images, so I could kind of align them to each other one at a time. And I could probably show you for each image. Let's see. This is like the preview image. That's the image that the first, the neutral exposure there. And if I go to this next one here, this is like the overexposure. So it's very bright. Just skip this one. This is pretty much the same thing as the preview. This is kind of underexposure, and this is even more underexposure. You can kind of see only like the really bright light sources show up in this image. And from this, assuming that I've aligned everything correctly and such, I'm able to. So I've got this set up to where I set this up to where this uses OpenCV2 with image HDR image reconstruction. So this is kind of software that's separate from Blender, but I've integrated into it using a plugin to try to reconstruct the image using OpenCV2. I can actually show you on here. So I got right here. So I got a couple settings here for how many samples it takes and such. This is all inputs to OpenCV. And what this does is actually runs it through OpenCV and then creates a new plane with the actual HDR image. So did it go through? Oh, there it is. So not a very good representation of what it looks like right now, but.
So that's a new image in HDR.
Oh, here it is. Yeah, so this is the HDR image right here.
Yeah.
And from this, I'm able to, so with my project, I'm looking to do all these steps in like one step of with the AI model running the phone's, run on the phone. And so in order to create this model, I have to create a bunch of training information to feed to the model. So for this, I have a option with my custom plugin here to actually export training and such. So let's run that. So it's gonna run that for a bit, and go back to here, and it should start to create a new directory inside here for. Yeah, let's give it a second to figure things out. Or did I edges? Oh no, I got it.
So what's the training? Is training on the photos you took?
Well, this is putting together the training that I'm gonna use for training later on.
Okay.
So this is all combine all the information. I'm gonna try to show you when as soon as it shows up on here. I don't know what. Did I even do it right here? Oh, wait. I'm not sure if I'm looking at the right spot here. Oh, there it is. Okay, so it's creating these EXR files. So it's like a 1024 by 1024 image snippets of that image. So it's all just various spots there. And what I could do is I could actually open one of these up inside the compositor here. So these are multi-layer EXR files. So image, go to open, and let's go to do that right there. So I've been creating, so I have a number of different layers I have available here. So this is the combined layers, is the target image I want the model to create. And I want to be able to create from using, so this is used for alignment. This is like edge stuff. So this is like the overexposed image, the mid-range, the neutral image, and then the underexposed and the other underexposed image. And I have different versions for like them being aligned and unaligned. And also there's the various layers for, I'll probably show you some of the. So I've also did like random sampling of the neutral image as well, so that can be fed into the model as well. So it kind of gets all the information from the whole image rather than just the one spot. And yeah, so this is all just combined all into one file, which I can easily run with the training later on. And yeah, so.
Sorry to cover this, but
Oh, yeah.
the ultimate goal is to create what, an HDRI or?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But ultimately what I'm trying to do is I'm putting all this information together to train a model, which I could put onto the app, which would create HDRIs without having to use the open CV stuff. Which is, you have to do a lot of fine tuning with it, make sure all the color information looks correct and stuff between photos, and being able to just run it through a model is just one step.
Okay, so you're using Blender now to train using the OpenCV, so you can take that training and build an add-on into Blender that does not automatically?
Yeah, you can also do it automatically in Blender as well.
Okay.
But I could probably show you the app, what's actually doing on the app.
Yeah.
So
it's kind of like I have a Rico Theta S that basically can shoot through.
Yeah.
So it's like, and then you can do it on a phone with flat images.
Yeah.
Great with
Exactly.
Yeah, it's cool, and multi-bracketed too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does
So
Rico do multi-bracketing?
It does, but I have the older one. The newer ones are much better, like the Z, but they're really expensive. I haven't been using it, but I use the old one. I had an app called HRI 360 that you could go in, this bracketing, but it sort of worked, but it wasn't like a pure raw.
I have one called 360 Photo Cam.
Yeah.
That does it, but it doesn't bracket.
Yeah.
It'll take the photos and stitch them together, but it won't bracket.
That was like my very first question to like Rico. I'm like, why don't you have to make a bracketed version so like we can use it to make something like a real HRI?
Yeah, I have one of those Ricos too.
Yeah.
I used to go rent robotic pano heads and use the DSLR.
Oh yeah, that's the old school way.
Had it like, and like stitch it together in like ET GUI or something.
Yeah.
It was such a pain in the ass. It never worked correctly in ET GUI the first time I did it. So Rico, it's all-in-one Rico things.
So anyway, this is a screen shot, this screen view of the app that I'm actually working on here.
Okay.
So let's save. I could probably just open up this one here. And the idea is, so what you're currently seeing is something that I previously run on there, but the idea is I run a prediction, and you can see it's actually going to go by each shot one by one to create the HDRI image for each shot that was taken there. This is actually running on the tensor processor on the phone and stuff, so it's actually not really running on the GPU, but it's running on all separate hardware for this. This is really cool.
So I just have a question. So what is it training on to help you stitch, do the stitching?
Right now it's just the HDR image, but I'm currently working on getting alignment working. So what I want to try to do is get automatic alignment of the brackets first, and then alignment between images as well. So if I look around here, you can probably see some seams where things are not quite lining up right, like this bench down here. Yeah. Yeah, I do some very large blending between the images. So it kind of hides it pretty good, but but you can see there's a double image between those two trays there on the left side there.
Oh, quick question. How many do you need the sample to take? Are you doing can you do 8, 16? Like how many are you taking? Does that all get, the more you take, the better result you get, or are you able to?
So it's 5. So I'm using the wide angle image on the phone, so I'm able to capture a really wide range with the camera. So to capture the horizon, it's about 5 images. Probably with other phones that don't have the wide camera, I have to probably take more. Right now, I just have a set constellation of images that you have to capture the whole scene. But I have
You're writing this for, is it iOS or Android?
iOS.
iOS.
Yeah.
So the ultimate product is going to be an iOS app.
Yeah.
That just does all this like one button sort of.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And then at the end, at the finished product at the end is you'll be able to just export. Yeah, there we go. You just export the actual image here, so we can drop in my.
The road, but I have a version recording video to do this.
Well, since I'm taking individual pictures, that's not going to be possible with this.
Yeah.
Because you got the like what you're saying was the Ricoh cameras.
Data.
Yeah, data. Yeah, those have like 2 cameras facing different directions, so it captures everything all at once for video.
Yeah.
This is just strictly just still images. They have to take each individual picture. So.
Still, I mean, like there've been times when I've been in a really beautiful spot and thought I would really love an HDR. I have this right now. So like
well, that and it's also you guys ever played around with what is this HDRI images from Pixel Haven, I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this essentially what this is creating is those HDRI images that you could drop into Blender for like a HDRI and such for environments and such.
Sure.
And this is the final product from the app. Yeah.
I'll go behind.
And then
Drop it into Blender.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Chrome with a Chrome fuse of it.
I'll give you the USB of my warranty.
So he's gonna drop this.
This is probably good enough that you wouldn't notice it, as long as it's like just used for reflections or just ambient lighting.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So
the cool part is because it's bracketed, that's what you really want.
Yeah.
Bracketed.
Just to capture extra information and stuff too. Let me see if we could bring in.
Brackets you guys think is minimal on HDRI? Minimal? Yeah.
Probably 4 or 5, right?
Yeah, 8 would be good.
Yeah, more would be.
Yeah.
5 probably good as a base.
Yeah, I think I do about 4K on this from the app right now, but I could probably do better.
Yeah, you can start getting mushy shadows and stuff.
Environment texture. Let's see if I remember how to do this. Open. Let's go to.
That was one thing I talked about, because when the data S first came out, this guy contacted me, can I use some of your models? I teamed up with him, but the thing is, he's only exporting JPEG, so it was like,
yeah, there we go.
It was terrible. You couldn't really, you want like compressed raw areas that you could use with, you couldn't get that information, you couldn't access on the early data.
Yeah.
So right there, you're kind of hindered, your handicaps, you can't.
Let's put the monkey head in there.
Maybe add into there.
I found this guy in Australia, and he did a session on this in one of our prior meetings. He does just bracketed HDRs, but he does them like over the course of a day. So like the sun and the moon coming up and everything are lighting, those lighting sources, and so
I was taking an architectural modeling course, and I would just map those HDRIs in and watch the sun go over the, like, all the shadows moving.
So, wait, so, but was he making the generating from like each time frame?
Yeah, so I'm assuming he had a DSLR and a pano head, and he was like,
the whole day.
every few minutes or whatever, he would get like a full set of brackets. And I mean, you have to be doing it pretty fast because the sun and the moon move really fast. So, but yeah, it's just like remarkable. Hey, look at that. There we go.
So it's just using the HCI to generate the appetite. So if you want to get really geeky, I can.
Hold on, wait. Now put that cube underneath Suzanne.
I don't know if that works on Eevee, does it? No, it doesn't work on Eevee because although I could probably do it on cycles. Yeah, put the.
Scale that cube so sorry about that.
There it is.
There you go. Such a demanding archer.
Let me see. I could probably.
Oh wait, turn off your default light source.
Yeah. Wait. How? Where is that? Yep. Let me put the straight back to 1. So the light source is kind of everywhere in here because it's kind of a greenhouse. But, yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be pretty evenly lit here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I would use it too. Except I got an Android phone. So.
Microsoft was doing something with the same idea where you can take stills and do this together, but I never really saw it pan out to something usable.
I would use this when you make it for Android.
Yeah, Google had something very similar too, but it was just taking standard dynamic range, but it was free on their street app, but they discontinued that recently. So,
typical Google style.
Yeah.
Create something cool and then kill it.
Hey, so are you ready to do test flights on that yet?
Not yet.
We'll test it out.
Probably at the next meeting, but
Yeah,
yeah, it's been. But all this work's been taking a couple years so far, and yeah, it's. But it's.
Yeah, very time.
Yeah, thank you. So, if you want, I could go into some of the code for machine learning and stuff, but I don't know, it would probably melt you guys' brains.
Is that what you were talking about earlier with that template thing? I would like to see how that works. Can you show it?
Template?
Well, you're talking about when you guys were showing him how to set it up. Is that what you're talking about, the learning?
The add-on template.
The add-on template, the coding thing?
Oh, yeah.
Because you're using that to do the training.
No, that's just to be able to put together all the training material. So.
But you made an add-on, Blender add-on to help you through it, right?
Yeah, I could probably show you the directory for that. It's one of these in here.
I didn't even know you could do that.
You what, create add-ons?
Well, create that, what you the whole program thing. I didn't know that was even in there.
Yeah.
Oh, the templates.
Yeah.
So the important thing here is I believe I have Blender point to the scripts directory here. I could probably show an app in a little bit, but the important thing is to name this particular directory as add-ons with a capital A. What? Oh. Anyway, so anyway, so you put your add-on in here, and for the actual add-on, you have to put in this particular file called init.py. And at the top here, this pretty much describes the add-on. You can see here it still has the add mesh thing category here from the template I was using. So let me go to the app and show you where you. So it was preferences, and I can't remember, it was where is it? File paths, yeah. And yeah, here's scripts right here. So this is where you specify the directory where the add-ons directory is at. You don't specify the add-ons directory, you just specify the directory that it's in, which is important. It's caught me up quite a bit to figure out how to get it working correctly. And whatever you name it as, it's Pano tools in here. So when you install, so you have to be sure to enable it after you add your add-on. Yeah, and so it should show up in the add-ons here, and just enable it, and you're good to go. And let me go into scripting here. So yeah, so you can find that under, yeah, it's the very top one here. Just the add-on. Wait, no, is it? No, it's not that one. It's one of these, I think. I can't remember which one it was, but it was one of these that was just provided everything you needed to set up the add-on. You just pretty much put in your own names and everything, and kind of see how it all operators and everything works together. And yeah, and then from there, it's kind of a good starting off point to get going on your application, whatever you're trying to do. And for this, is just a very quick one-off thing to get all this information together for the actual training that I do for the models I'm working on.
Yeah, cool. Awesome. Okay, so I think we have one more session.
I'll get off here first.
Should we take a vote?
Let's do it.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Hugo. I run the Blender subreddit. We have a monthly contest there, and I figured that we could have all of you judge July's contest. The theme for this month's contest was robots. So.
Yeah, you would be perfect for this competition.
Okay, okay, little not large. Is that this guy's? Dude, God. I mean, typically I just like edit the winners into the actual announcement post. So we just put a markdown table and edit into below this section. Cool. Which I know is very plain, but I mean.
So Hugo, what did the group vote as the winner?
After much careful deliberation, the winner is little not large. Bert is a live submission.
Explain what we looked at.
View. It's a very well put together piece. I think it's everyone agrees that it's very clear that the person had an idea about what they wanted to do, and they were able to accomplish it. We're noticing a lot of small details, from the miscellaneous objects in the background to the use of focus blur to draw your attention to the subject. We also appreciate the fact that Bert has friends, even if you didn't see those in the proper submission.
Yeah, perfect. I love that.
Got the colors right too.
Awesome.
Oh yeah, there's a complementary color pattern on the robot too. Then actually the lighting itself, because the sort of like there's presumably like a window off to the right, and that's warm lighting, but behind that we see blue sort of lighting on the desktop monitor, which very neat. Okay, now I need to like write these down.
Oh, I could screenshot these, or I could send them to you in a list.
I mean, you know what, just how do you take a screenshot on Mac? I figured if we just screenshot these, the tabs, I can just.
Yeah, here we go. I'll just do this. And then we'll just go, I think it's Windows Shift S. There you go. That's the snipping tool. And we'll do this. Is that good enough for you? Just like that?
Yeah, just like, I don't know, send that to me on Discord, I guess.
Yeah, here, I'll drop it in the Discord right now. And I am a human, not a robot.
I'm not Bert.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, I tell you what, here. I'm gonna take it, I'm gonna save it to disk, and I'll drop it in the Discord just after the meeting. All right. Well, thanks guys for taking part in that. That was kind of fun, right? And I think that is our final topic. So, and we're right at 4 o'clock, which is where we had the room to, although I don't feel like we're gonna get booted out of here. But yeah, it was a fun meeting. Kind of small, personal. We'll try and do the next one, make it a little bit more official and give everybody a heads up more time. But thanks for coming. And yeah, we'll catch you at the next one.